the hibbit to the hip hop, and you don't. 1, 2, 3, it's like ABC. If hip hop didn't pay, I'd rap for free. Slide, slide, but that's the past. I got something brand new for that ass. Scotian, I respect you and Brian. I appreciate that. And me and Brian are two of the only ones in this whole fucking mix that deserve any respect. Trust me. And I'm not just saying it because it's me and Brian, but I'm just saying it because it's the truth. Like, he's the only one that I don't look at as a weirdo that was attached to, like, Aaron's life on a personal level. Everyone else was weird and suspect. Brian actually genuinely loved Aaron and cared a lot about him and fucking was a fan of Aaron and was just, like, happy with the opportunity to work with Aaron, and it had nothing to do with money at all, because Brian's richer than you guys can imagine. I'll just tell you that. He's way richer than Aaron ever was. So he definitely didn't need Aaron's money at all. He really just loved working with Aaron, enjoyed creating music, and just, you know, was a fan of Aaron and a brother of Aaron, you know what I mean? And shared amazing times with Aaron. Knew Aaron better than any of us, really. Asking for lions which are worth $300. What? Asking for lions that are worth $300. I got some lions you can buy if you go to the link in my bio. I'll put the line right on the front of a shirt, right CULT underneath it, and you can cop it right off Teespring and deliver it right to your house. And if you don't like it, you can get a 30-day return. Check that out. And if you put in promo code WINTER902, WINTER 902, you'll get 10% off. But I don't know what you're talking about the $300 lines. You gotta explain that to me. What's up to Lebanon? Is that Lebanon? Oh, no, that's not Lebanon. Fuck. Is that Poland? What flag is that? My bad. I thought it might have been Lebanon, but then there was no green cedar tree in the middle. Is that Poland? No, Poland's fucking... I'm embarrassed I don't know what flag that is right now. I pride myself on being a man of knowledge, and here I am. Not knowing what the fuck flag that is. Is that Georgia? No, Georgia's flag's not like that. What fucking flag is that? Varen, you gotta tell me what flag that is. Yeah, Poland. Yeah, I knew it was red and white. I was close. But what is that? In TikTok, it's coins you buy that you turn into gifts, and he's constantly begging people. Who, Czech? Are you talking about Czechs asking people to fucking gift him money on TikTok? I've never asked you guys for money. I've never even pushed my merchandise on you guys, nothing. Like, I just let you guys know that it's available like fucking a week ago. You know what I mean? It's like, it's out there. If you want it, take it. If you don't, don't. I never try to get money out of you guys or... That's what I'm saying. You guys got to look at people's motivations. Like, when you try to assess who to trust and who not to trust, you just ask yourself, well, like, what are they about? Have they asked me for anything? Like, you know, even my music's not even promoted that hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like, compared to other artists, like, a lot of people don't even know I'm a fucking artist. They just think I'm a guy that sits in the basement smoking weed, talking about what happened with Aaron Carter. You know what I mean? So, you just got to watch people's motivations around you. And that's what I'm saying. That guy's an ambitious guy. He's always wanted that thing, that stardom that he's looking for. So, you know, that's why he's very suspect, because people that want something that bad, they'll do anything to get it. You know what I mean? And I truly believe that Czech would do anything for fame. He would do anything. He would compromise anything about himself and disrespect himself to the ultimate level, because in his mind, the end justifies the means. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't care what it takes to get there. He just cares that he gets there. And if he gets there, it doesn't matter what happened. The fact that he got there is everything. So you got to watch somebody like that. Those are usually people with no integrity because they'll do anything for that shit. Greetings from Austria. Oh, it's Austria. Fuck, I should have known that. I almost thought it was Austria too. Fuck's sakes. Now I'm mad at myself. I was going to say Austria too. That was like my third guess after I fucked up Poland. My bad, Poland. And my bad, Austria. But greetings to you too. It's nice to have people in your part of the world that are tuned in. Feels good. Feels good, man. It means that we're connecting globally. Czech is a snake. Well, yeah, that's easy to see, man. That's like looking at fucking, you know, the sky and saying the sky's blue. It's like, it's very obvious on first glance. It's early in the AM. It's pretty early in the AM for me too. Like, it's not like extremely early, but it's early. I hope Jalen finally does her son Aaron justice. That'd be nice. It's going to take somebody's voice because mine didn't matter. I fucking brought up every inconsistency and everything that was wrong and raised as much hell as I could in the beginning. People just kind of like brushed me off, so. And then meanwhile, Chuck went on a media tour and sat around, you know, talking about shit that didn't matter when he could have been raising awareness to the fact that something wasn't right with the death of his brother and that he wanted to have information on it. You know, that was the other weird thing about like checking this whole situation is in the beginning, he never thought it was odd that Aaron died the way that he died, which I thought was really odd. He's just focused on telling everybody how close they were and how, you know, they were best friends. And he's the only person that he was supposed to have his last song with Aaron. Aaron's last song was supposed to be with me. That came out of his mouth. What does that mean? That's such a creepy statement. Aaron's last song was supposed to be with me. That's some creepy shit. And there's some creepy people in the States. Like, you got some real creepy fans in the States. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying like that there's not in Canada. I just mean like there's more people in the States, so you got more creeps in the States, and you got more obsessive fans of shit that got nothing better than just like obsess over people. And I could tell, you know, listening to Czech talk that he'd watched Aaron since he was young. You know what I mean? Like, he was influenced by Aaron throughout his whole life, you know? Like, Aaron was like a boy band to me. You know, like in my brain, it's just like, oh, that guy's in a boy band. I just continue on listening to the Dog Pound, continue on listening to UGK, continue on listening to Tupac Shakur, Mobb Deep, CNN, Capone, and Nori. Like, that's what I was listening to when Aaron was like popping, right? But Czech was actually listening to Aaron's music when Aaron was popping and like watching him and like buying the CD. And, you know, like, so he had a different level of like obsession or like fandom, I guess. I don't even know what the word is. Like with me and Aaron, like, I obviously knew who Aaron was. Like, obviously, I was very familiar. I knew exactly who Aaron was. But all I knew about him was, or remembered about him, was his early music video, Aaron's Party, because he used to be like on a commercial on this Canadian music station called Much Music. Nice to see that pop up. The na 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 na, like, it just sticks in your head, right? You're like, okay, I got that one. Then he came out with the House of Carters. I watched that. I actually used to come home from school and fucking watch that shit. So I got that. And then the next thing I knew about Aaron, I saw him on Dr. Phil one time. I seen like an advertisement on TV, and it's like, next week on Dr. Phil, and it was like Aaron. I was like, whoa. And I hadn't seen him in like years, and I was like, whoa, that guy, you know what I mean? Like, I was very interested in what was going on with him. So I watched the Dr. Phil shit. Or was it Dr. Phil or the Doctors? I don't know. It was either one of the two. I watched him on one of those two shows. And then my next interaction with Aaron was meeting him in person in Halifax, doing a show with him. So like, you know, my next thought, I should say, not interaction, but like my next thought, like, period. So like, There'd only been like 4 or 5 times in my life that I'd even thought about Aaron before I met him. And I think that that's why Aaron liked me, because I wasn't a fan of him. Like most people around him were extreme fans of him. Even if they were his friend and they became close to him, they still started off fans of him. And they'll never lose that weird thing that people have when they look at somebody as an idol. You're always going to treat somebody different, no matter how hard you try not to. You're going to treat somebody different that you view as an idol, you know? And then that creates a disingenuous relationship between the two of you, because there's this weird thing that's like preventing just real interaction. And the weird thing is you're famous and I idolize you. You know what I mean? So it adjusts every dynamic of the relationship, you know, and that's why Aaron trusted me, is because he knew I wasn't a fan of him. I wasn't excited to be around him. If anything, he was excited to be around me. And I don't mean from an egotistical point of view. I mean from the point of view of like he was refreshed being around me, and I didn't want anything from him. And I told him no when he tried to sign me to his record label. So like I was literally coming for nothing. I wasn't coming for money. I wasn't coming for nothing. And then he was like, whoa, this guy's my real friend. The reality hit him, you know what I mean? And that's why we were so close. So these guys did business with Aaron, right? Or some, if you call it that, but they did business with Aaron. They were the whole point of them coming together with Aaron was because of business, because of their career. Me and Aaron came together by chance, and the reason that we stuck around and that we built a brotherhood was out of me caring for him and him caring for me, and me wanting to see the best for him and just looking out for him like the way an older brother would. So like these people that were around him, you got to watch their motivations and like what they care about. Like when Aaron died, all I did was point out inconsistencies in his death and try to ask questions and figure things out. All Czech did was go on every media platform, every blog, every fucking YouTube live, every Instagram live, whatever he could do, so he could just talk about, you know, him and Aaron's music and how him and Aaron were like best friends and that's his brother. He wasn't talking about like, yo, man, I want justice. I want to know what happened to my brother. You know, like he wasn't talking like that. He's just telling everybody about how he met Aaron and, oh, we got a new song. Everybody check out my new song. You know what I mean? Like he's just an opportunist, you know what I mean? Which is fine. That's what his job was. And Aaron knew that. Aaron knew what he was. You know what I mean? Aaron wasn't a fool. Aaron didn't take Czech as like a really close friend. Aaron took Czech exactly what he was, as someone that he worked with and did some music with and hung out with a little bit. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. You got to watch these motherfuckers, because they had a whole agenda right from the beginning. I met Aaron on chance. I ended up on the same show with him because we had the same tour manager. So it is what it is. You guys can figure it out for yourselves. Like these guys, like, you know, were watching Aaron online, trying to interact with him, DMing him, trying to go live with him, trying to get his attention. Like I literally met him by chance. You know what I'm saying? There was no effort on my point to know Aaron Carter. And that's the difference between me and them. And that's why you can't trust them. Czech's a clown. He's definitely a clown, but that's what you guys are entertained by, is by clowns. Like, look, Czech has more followers than me. You guys post more about what he does than what I do. You know what I mean? And that's fine. Like it's not like I want that, but I'm just pointing out to you that that's what you guys find entertaining. You guys spend way more time on Czech's page than you'd spend on someone like my page, because he is a clown. And that's what you guys want to watch, is a circus. I don't got enough circus going on around me. You guys don't see enough fuckery around me. I'm always chill. I'm fucking, you know, consistent. Like, that's not fun to watch. Like, you know, I work out every day. I promote a healthy lifestyle. I talk knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Like, you guys don't give a fuck about that. You guys want to see the circus. You guys want to see clowns. Aaron knew that too. That's why he brought Czech around. Aaron knew what you guys are entertained by and why you were watching him. And, you know, it wasn't just him being completely authentic either. You got to realize Aaron wasn't the same person off live that he was on live. He knew what he was doing. He'd call me after a live and be laughing and being like, yo, bro, do you see how I got this going and I got that going? And like, he knew what he was doing. He was much smarter than people give him credit for. But here's the thing. When you're playing the character, people are going to think you're an idiot. Like when you're actually treating everyone else like a fucking idiot and playing everyone else like a fool, they're going to think you're the fool. That's the weird thing about it. Like, I don't know if you guys watch MMA, but there's a MMA fighter named Colby Covington, right? Colby Covington had a bunch of fights in the UFC, did really well, but then they were going to cut him because no one cared if he fought. Like, he wasn't interesting. He wasn't like, the fans didn't really give a fuck. He wasn't a draw. So Colby Covington had one fight left on his UFC contract. You know what he did? He came out to that fight wearing a hat that said, "Make America Great Again." He talked a bunch of shit, a bunch of just political shit about Donald Trump, which was really hot topic at the time. He fucking acted the fucking fool in front of everybody. And he continued that act on to this day. That act is still going on. And you know what? People hate Colby Covington for it. They're like, oh, he's such a dick. He's such a loser. He's such a mean guy. Everything that he said, everything that he's done, he's disrespectful. I hate that guy. But they don't realize that Colby's playing a fucking character. That's what he has to do in order to sell pay-per-views so he can feed his fucking family. Because you guys didn't care when Colby was just a fucking stand-up collegiate fucking athlete and a fucking great fighter. It didn't matter to you guys. You guys didn't want to see that. You guys wanted to see the fuckery and the foolishness. So he strapped the MAGA hat on. He talked some shit. He disrespected people. And then you guys cared about him. And whether you hate somebody or love them, you're still making them money if you're paying attention to them. So don't think that Aaron was a fucking fool and like you were just watching his real life every day unfold on live. When that live button clicked on, Aaron switched into a character. Now, I'm not saying the character was completely different from who he is, right? But there was still like a fucking filter of a character that he would present to you guys through the internet. And he knew better. He wasn't just, there was times where I think he was getting lost in his own sauce, like starting to believe some of his own, like he was getting a little lost in it. But trust me, he knew what he was doing. He knew talking mad shit would keep you guys interested. He knew, you know, a lot of these things. And he was doing that, you know, so he could make money to fucking survive because the music industry blacklisted him and he had no chance to fucking make any money in music. So, you know, he wasn't dumb and he wasn't just some fucking lunatic. Like, he was also putting on a show. Like, but it's weird though, because it was real life and a show and it got really blurred. You know what I mean? So that's where things got weird, but he knew that shit was a show. Like, he's putting on a show for you. That's what he's born to do, is entertain. And you guys aren't entertained by a regular person having a regular life, doing well for themselves and living a quiet, consistent life. And I'm proof of that shit because I've been making music for 5 years. My music is fucking slapping. You know what I'm saying? My music's fucking good. I've been making music for 5 years. I've traveled the world. A lot of people who know who I am, seen who I am. You know what I mean? I got other things going for me and still, like, my numbers aren't insane. But if I started doing some dumb shit today or I started acting like Check the fucking loser, then all of a sudden you guys would see my numbers go crazy. And I know that, but I'm not willing to play that character. I'm not willing to compromise that. Aaron was. He didn't care what you guys thought about him ultimately. He did care, but he didn't care. You know what I mean? He understood the reality of the situation and in the entertainment situation. So he just cared that you guys were still paying attention to him and that he was still relevant and that he still had an opportunity to make his money online, because there's a lot of money to be made online by paying. Like, Aaron didn't pay attention. Attention paid Aaron, if you know what I'm saying. You know? And even in ways that you guys can't imagine, like when people think, oh, he's broke or he was this, he was that. You don't understand how much money you can make online, how lucrative it is. Like, you know, all the different aspects and avenues, even people just donating money to you and cash apps and all these shits that fans were giving him and stuff. That's fucking lucrative. You know what I mean? And all that was dependent on him staying online and entertaining them. Like, if he was only on there once a week, no one would care. Like, you guys want to be entertained every day. In multiple hours of the day. You don't want to just be entertained once a week. Like, we live in that instant gratification world now. So Aaron was on live entertaining you guys to the fullest and making bad decisions about who he brought around in the name of entertainment. You know, that's why me and Aaron's relationship was more offline than online, because I'm not the most entertaining guy. Like, I got good things to say and certain people fuck with me and stuff like that. And I make good music and stuff, but I'm not overly entertaining. You don't see me here with fucking neon dreads and bunch of weird piercings all over me and like really trying to grab you guys' attention, like tattooing my whole face, like just being that person that's like, look at me. Like, I'm online, stare at me and judge. Like, that's not me. Like, I'm more chill. I'm more laid back. Like, I wish I was more ambitious like that, because that means I could get further ahead in a music career. But I've already accepted the fact that I don't really give a fuck about a music career. What I care about is experiences. And the experiences that I've had since I started making music are priceless to me. And the opportunities that I've gotten. And the feelings that I've had. And the people that I've met. So, like, I don't know, man. That's what selling out kind of is, you know? It's like selling out's being on OnlyFans, showing your ass, you know? Selling out is, you know, acting the fool for people and have them thinking you're one way when you know damn well you're not like that. Like, that is what selling out is, you know what I mean? But all entertainers have to sell out. That's why they're in the position, because they're willing to give up parts of their life that other people aren't, you know? Please don't ever tattoo your beautiful face. First of all, thank you very much for saying that this face that's been punched more times than you can imagine and kicked more times than you can imagine is beautiful. But I will probably never tattoo my face. Like, I've thought about it a few times. I think if I would have done it, I would have done it already. You know? And like, the tattoos that I was going to get on my face were like very, very small. Like, it wouldn't have been the first thing you noticed when you looked at my face. You would have noticed it after you looked at my face, but it wouldn't have been like the first thing that caught your attention. You know what I mean? So even when I was going to do it, it was going to be very small, tasteful, in my opinion, things. You know what I mean? But I don't really see myself tattooing my face. Like, I got enough ink. Like, my whole neck's tatted. My whole chest is tatted. My whole shoulders are tatted. And I got sleeves. Like, you know, and I'll continue to get tats. Like, I'm going to get a back piece. I got plans for my stomach. You know, I got a couple of tattoos I want to get on my legs, you know, over time. But I don't really see myself tattooing my face. It's not really my style. Plus, I just don't want to be like one of those people that's like put in that box because I have a tattooed face. Like, it's like, oh, that's one of those guys from that time frame. Because trust me, like, as time goes on and that shit ain't cool no more, and young people are into something else, trust me, like, all the people that have that shit will be looked at as like those old folks. Like, oh, that's one of those guys from like 2018 who had face tats every, you know what I mean? Like, trust me, that shit won't be cool forever. And you're going to be marked forever. It's not like a hairstyle. You can't change it. Like, you can have some fucked up hairstyle that's like cool for the time or whatever, and you can change that shit. You can cut your hair, and then people see a picture like, oh, wow, you had that haircut? Like, you were doing that thing? You know, but a tattoo on your face is different. And there's going to be a lot of, like, it's going to be a weird group of older people, I feel like. And no disrespect to people that got their faces tatted. Because a lot of my friends got their faces tatted. Like, do what you want to do. But just in my opinion, there's going to be this weird group of, like, 50 to 60-year-olds, like, you know, and another, like, 20 years, 30 years that are, like, just so foreign looking to, like, young people. And then young people will be like, wow, why would they do it? Back then they just destroy their face. It's crazy. Like, it'll be like us looking at people wearing bell bottoms and platforms or having afros or, like, you know, or the 80s, the big 80s hair. It'll be something where we're just like, whoa, people were tripping back then. You know what I mean? And it's out of control. Like, the face tats got out of control. Like, at first it was like something like over your eye, like maybe something like under your eye. You know what I mean? Maybe something like on your hairline. And then it just got out of control. And now people just got their whole fucking faces blasted. It's like, I don't know, man. It's almost like destroying God's artwork, like defacing God's artwork. Like, and like I said, you know, I'm guilty of the same because I'm tatted up, right? I've marked up my body, which I don't necessarily think on a spiritual level is a good thing to do. I do think it's kind of like a sin, you know, like, I'm not judging and I'm not like religious necessarily, but I'm just saying like I do think like your body, you shouldn't mark up your body. Like if I could give someone advice, like I mark my body up, but I think you shouldn't mark your body up, if that makes any sense. Plus it comes with health issues too, you know what I mean? Yeah, like people don't know what tattoo ink is even made of. Like I know what tattoo ink is made of. Do you? Somebody tell me what tattoo ink is made of. I bet you nobody in here knows. But I bet you like 80% of people in here have a tattoo. Good friend and pure soul. Thank you so much. I try to keep it pure, man. It matters to me. My soul matters to me. That's why I'm not doing the most for fame or like trust me, man. Like okay, like I've been accused in the past of being a clout chaser. I've been accused of, you know, trying to, you know, take advantage of Aaron's situation to make myself famous and all this shit. Do you guys realize like I could make myself famous like if I wanted to, trust me. And I could like pose nude on, I could open an OnlyFans right now and take a bunch of pictures and trust me, you guys would go check them out. Believe me. So like, you know, I could go to Hollywood right now. I could start dating one of these rich fucking Hollywood chicks that's in my DMs that has no fucking personality and no soul and just go hang out at the hottest parties and, you know, just go run around and be a toy boy. Like I could do all that shit if I wanted to right now. So like anybody that thinks I'm clout chasing, anybody that thinks that I'm trying to do anything, first of all, you're disrespecting me. Because if I was trying to do it, I'd do it. I could be famous if I wanted to be famous, but I'm not willing to sell out to be famous. I'm not willing to do all the things and give up all the pieces of myself and also my peace of mind and my soul in order for that goal. Some people, they don't give a fuck. It's literally all or nothing for most people. Like, and I admire that level of dedication where they're so dedicated to one goal that they're willing to do anything to have it. But that's what it takes to have things. Like you got to want something more than you want. In order to get something in this world, you got to want it more than anything. You got to sacrifice for it more than anything. You got to show the universe that you really want that. And you show that by sacrifice. And I'm not willing to sacrifice a lot of things that need to be sacrificed in order to be known on a broader level and have the financial incentives that come with being a recognized, you know, musical artist globally. I have a little fan base and I'm happy with that. And, you know, like, I'm just happy to be making music and that anybody listens to it. Even if there was 10 people listening to my music. I remember there was a time where nobody, like, I wasn't even making music and I used to dream of people listening to my music. So, like, I'm just happy with, like, very, very simple things. And that stops me from doing the most. Like, I could go out there and get pimped, man. I could go out there and get pimped by this game and this system, and you guys would know who I was, and you guys would think I was successful, and everybody would think my life was so great, but my life wouldn't be great, and I'm smart enough to know that, you know? I've had record deals offered to me, not just from Aaron. Me and Caleb turned down a $500,000 record deal because it would have compromised us making the music we wanted to make, doing what we wanted to do, going where we wanted to go, waking up when we want to wake up. Like, to me, peace of mind and freedom's everything. And when you're worth a lot of money to a record label or to anybody, or if people just know that you have a lot of money in general, it creates problems in your life. And my advice to you is if you have money, act like you don't have money. Because if people know that you have it, trust me, the problem's set in quick and you get converged. People just like fucking converge on you, you know what I'm saying? It's fucked up. Trust me, I could do all that shit. I could go to New York, go do some like, I could go fucking, you know, get fucking real skinny and in shape, go do some modeling shit and go flirt with a bunch of people and fucking, like I said, play the whole, like I could do whatever and get myself into that role right now, but I'm not willing to do that shit. So, but these guys are willing to do that shit. These guys will do whatever it takes. That's why you got to watch them. That's what I'm saying. You guys got to study people. You got to like look at the realities of people, not just what they're telling you, but just look at how they move. And it'll tell you a lot about them and what their motivations are. Come to NYC. I am going to come to NYC. I worked in New York for a while. Not in New York City, but I worked in upstate, like all over upstate. I worked in like fucking Cooperstown, Elmira, fucking Elmira. What the fuck was that other place I can't remember. It was a minute ago now. A bunch of the places upstate that are all in that little area I worked at. Fucking Oneota. Oneota. I worked in Oneota too. I like Oneota. I have a little place in my heart for that, you know, because when I worked there, I had a real good time there, and just going to all the local restaurants, meeting local people, just taking in the culture. It was dope for me. No, not Buffalo, like more like south of Buffalo, but I've been to Buffalo. I used to go to Buffalo sneaker shopping like every weekend. That's what a lot of Canadians do. Sorry, because there's fucking, I wasn't blowing at you guys, by the way. There was like a fucking like ash or something on my phone. But yeah, like a lot of Canadians that live in like Toronto area, like Toronto, you know, GTA, bigger area, they'll go to Buffalo because there's outlets like not too far from the border. And then you can just get like sneakers for like 30 or 40 bucks that you pay like 200 bucks for in Canada. Like I used to go there and get fucking, like that's the thing. Like I don't even care about even spending the money. Well, back then I didn't care about spending the money so much in Canada. It wasn't about saving the money as it was about selection. Like Buffalo had crazy clothes, crazy selection. Canada just didn't. Like it took Canada a real long time to catch the fuck up, man. Trust me. Canada's behind. We're still behind. But it took a minute, trust me. Like they keep us like limited what they allow us to have here. We don't get all the fly shit and all the cool shit. You have to really dig for it anyway if it's here. It's not just like so easily accessible. But yeah, I've been talking for a minute, but just make sure you guys go check out my new record today with the Beat Slinger and Danger. It's called Miss You Too. It's a pop record. It's a fucking beautiful record. I love this record. I love the vibe of this record. It'll make you feel good. It's the kind of record you can put on and like start your day, or you can like get your makeup on while you're getting ready to like go on a date, or you can just put it on like if you're like cleaning up the house and shit, you know, or you're just driving, nice day, got the top peeled back on your convertible, wind's blowing in your hair, just got off work, just got paid. It's that kind of music, you know what I mean? Check it out. Artie Cousins in the building. What's up, big Artie? A real Scotian Savage. That's my man's. My man's with the crazy hands. Put them fucking hands on you, boy. You ain't coming back. You guys better nice up your talks, as they say in Jamaica when you speak to Artie. You better nice up your words. You get them hands, it's going to be fucking lights out. For real. Artie, I won't lie, bro. If me and you ever got in a fight, God forbid, you know, and obviously, bro, that would never happen. You know what I mean? There's too much love and respect. But if I ever got in a fight with you, I'm not standing up for a second. I'm shooting a double quick. I'm not even throwing a kick. I'm fucking shooting a double. I'm going to wait for you to throw one punch. I'm going to try to duck under, grab them legs. I'm going to try to keep the fight there. Definitely not standing out with you. You got them north end of Dartmouth hands. Those ones Kent Nemo had. They're just different set of hands. Come to Los Angeles. I'm definitely going to come to LA. It's crazy that I haven't been there yet. But it's going to be weird because the last time I was supposed to go to LA was, you know, to link up with Aaron. So it'd be kind of weird going to LA. Like, I'll think a lot about Aaron more so than anything when I first arrived there. Whereas before I would have thought about other things. I don't know. Definitely going to come to LA though. And mind my business and not wear any sports teams, hats, not wear any sport. I already know the rules when you go to LA. Do not wear any colors, just stay neutral. I'll wear black and white. Don't wear any sports teams hats, because to me it could be Toronto Blue Jays. To them it's some fucking neighborhood that'll blow my head off. Yeah, mind my fucking business. Stay out the way. And don't go to any parties with pretty people. Stay away from pretty people parties. That's where all the hell fucking gets broken loose. Definitely want to come to Austria. I'd love to see Austria. I'd love to see that part of Europe anyway. Just like, you know, I'd love to see all the parts of the world, to be honest with you, but I definitely want to go to Europe. And I definitely want to travel across Europe, start in the West, start in the UK, and then make my way east. Europe's not that big. Like, people think Europe's big because the way that the map looks, but like, do you guys realize that all of Europe the landmass of all of Europe will fit inside just the state of Texas? Think about that for a second. All of Europe will fit inside the state of Texas. That's how big Texas is, and that's how small Europe is. So like, I definitely want to like make my way across and see as much of it as I can. And it's not even as crazy as a task as like traveling across America and trying to see everything, or traveling across Canada trying to see everything. You know what I mean? Because it's not that big. It just looks big on the map because it's not to scale. The map you guys look at, that's not how big the continents actually are. You guys got to realize that. Like, when you guys looked at the map in school, in your brain, you just thought, okay, that's how big the continents are in relation to each other, but they're not. That map was created in order to depict the Earth in a round form. You know what I mean? So they had to adjust the size of the continents in order to fit the global form. But it's actually called the Mercator map. The map that we have now is the Mercator map. And Mercator was actually a German, believe it or not. Was a German who developed that map, you know, when people realized that the world wasn't flat and it was round. But the continents are not to scale on the map that we see. You can look up maps, non-Mercator maps, but you have to like specifically look them up where they will show you the continents in scale and show you the size of them in relation to one another. You'd be surprised. Like, Africa is fucking huge. Africa is massive, like massive. Doesn't look massive on the Mercator map, you know, when you look at a regular map, but if you actually look at the continents in scale and you see the size of Africa, you'd be blown away. Same thing with South America. South America is much bigger than North America, but North America looks bigger than South America on a Mercator map. The more you know. See, I'm not only giving you guys great music, I'm not only keeping you guys fucking informed about what's going on, you know what I mean, but I'm giving you guys information that no one's ever given you about the world around you, and that's important because you live here and you should know more about it. You know what I'm saying? You guys are like, man, this guy's just stoned. I'm at work. Shut up. Teach you guys some shit. Professor Winter. You guys can enroll in my master class in the mystery school. Africa has over 2 billion people. Yeah. But I mean, like, I just mean in land mass. In land mass, Africa is much larger than it looks. I challenge everyone that's on this live at some point today, go on Google, search map of the world in scale of the continent size. And you guys are going to see a different map than you've ever seen before. And Europe's not that big. But Europe's big in terms of what it means globally to the rest of the world. That's the interesting thing about Europe, is that these little tiny countries that are do you guys realize that Toronto is 4.5 the size of Toronto, Canada, the city of Toronto is 4.5 times bigger than London, England. 4.5 times bigger than London, England. So like, it's like these little places and these little countries and stuff like that were able to have so much influence and go out and take over so much of the world and colonize so much of the world. Portugal, France, Spain. It's truly amazing. It actually is truly amazing, because these are small places, you know, in relation to a lot of the places that they conquered, you know. Do you like my country, Spain? Well, of course. I think Spain's an amazing place with incredible history. A lot of the history of Spain is unknown to people. Like, Spain was actually colonized by African Moors for 400 years. So there was a period of 400 years where Spain was subject to the Moors. And that's what, like, the Shakespeare play Othello's about. If you guys know about Othello, if you guys are into Shakespeare. I'm probably talking so foreign, you guys are in there, probably, what the fuck's he talking about? I'm here to know what's going on fucking Aaron, and I want some rap music and smoking weed. I don't want to know all this deep shit. But yeah, like, I've learned a lot about Spain. I've studied the history of Spain. You know, I'd love to visit sometime. I think it's a beautiful country, and I'd love to visit sometime. And there's beautiful people in Spain, and it's a beautiful language. But yeah, I know a lot about that shit. I know a lot about a lot. I know more than people think I know. And that's why you got to get up pretty fucking early in the morning to fuck with me or fool me. And I think a lot of people, they just take me as like a stoner who makes rap music, and like kind of like a jock or something, you know, because I fight and I make rap and I fucking smoke weed, so they think I'm a fucking idiot. But you guys would be surprised how much time that I've spent in my life educating. Like, I'm almost obsessive with education. Like, I'm constantly self-educating, learning as much as I can fucking possibly learn at all times. Like, I get off on learning new shit that I don't know. Like, I literally do. Like, it's the only thing that gets me fucking truly excited. You like Germany? I do. There's a lot of history there. I know a lot of the history of their Germanic tribes. First of all, like, that whole area and stuff like that, and the Celtic connection to Germany and the cultures prior, you know, to modern times. Like, I've studied a lot about Europe. I've studied ancient Europe. I've studied the migrations of people in Europe. I've studied everything right from the beginning of Enlightenment in Europe, which happened when Greeks first started coming to Egypt and going to mystery schools and learning from the Africans about civilization, learning about the movement of the stars and the planets, learning about mathematics, learning about language, learning all these things were learned in Egypt and were brought back to Europe through the Greco-Roman culture. And that's what empowered the Greek and the Roman culture so much, is they had so much connection to ancient wisdom and knowledge because of the mystery school system that existed for many years prior to the fall of Egypt and the Ptolemy era. And the Ptolemy era was the era of Egyptian pharaohs where it was ruled by foreigners, which is the last dynasty. And that was like Greek rulers for the most part, but that was the last dynasty of Egypt, and there were so many dynasties prior to that. So you got to know your history. But yeah, like, my grandfather fought in World War II as well. My grandfather fought in World War II and was in Germany. So like, since I was a kid, I always had, you know, like, that's always a big thing for us in Canada is Remembrance Day and remembering World War II and our veterans and stuff like that. So like, I know a lot about Germany. You know, I know about that era of Germany, Nazi Germany. Like I've studied that extensively. I've studied, um, you know, yeah, I know a lot, and I like Germany. And I think the modern Germany is really dope. I think really fucking dope music and culture and style. And yeah, I'd love to visit Germany. My music partner Caleb has been there a few times. Um, he has music, had music on the radio with 341 Music in Germany. They actually used to play my song Incredible Hulk in Germany a lot. Like it was playing on stations and it was playing in clubs. Like I have videos of my songs playing in clubs in Germany and stuff like that. Definitely like to visit Deutschland, or Germany as the Italians call it, which is why we call it Germany, which is weird, you know what I mean? Because it's one of the only countries where we call it something different than what the people that actually live there call it. But it's because the Italians used to call it Germani. And that's how, you know, why that term exists now in America, why we call it Germany as opposed to Deutschland. Do the Toronto pronunciation again. Toronto. I don't know. I don't say Toronto. I don't say Toronto. I'm from Nova Scotia. I got an accent. I say Toronto. Like it's Tronto. Like I don't say it right. Toronto. That's how we say it. Toronto. I'm from Toronto. I went to Toronto. Like, but I'm from Nova Scotia. So like we talk different. Every part of Canada, people talk different, you know what I mean? Canada's a fucking huge country. You guys got to realize Canada spans a fucking continent, from one side of a continent to the other. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of different pronunciations and accents within Canada. Eh? Don't you know? One of your favorite classes was history. That's dope. Yeah, I cared a lot about history. I was always good in history. Because to me, you don't know where you're going unless you know where you came from. So, like, I feel like no matter how smart I get, or how intelligent I am, or how much money I make in a career, all these things that people measure success by, like, for me, success will be measured by if I can, in my lifetime, put together the questions that every human has to ask themselves. Like, I'm very interested in the truth, like, in the real truth. Like, whether it's ugly, whether it's scary, whether it makes me afraid, whether it makes me sick, whether it aligns with, you know, my vision or not. I just want to know the truth. I want to know the reality of the human existence on Earth. I want to know our story. It's such a beautiful story. Like, we're all part of, like, this really beautiful movie. Like, if you think about this shit, it's like, if this was a movie, this would be the greatest movie that had ever come out ever. Like, a race of people that have forgotten who they are, what their origin was, or where they came from. And now they're, like, living their lives, trying to move on into the future while still trying to put together the pieces of what happened in the past. You know what I mean? And that's why we'll never truly manifest our destiny as human beings on this planet until we know our origin and we know all of that. Until that, we're just kind of like chasing our own tails. Everybody thinks something different. Everybody has a different philosophy. Everybody has a different way of living, thinking, belief system. Once we have the truth, once we all know the truth of who we are as human beings, and why we're here and how we got here, then the world will be perfect, because there'll be no illusion. There'll be no lie. You'll know the truth. You'll be living in the truth. There'll be no need for a philosophy. There'll be no need to speculate. We'll just know, which means that we'll live in accordance with the laws of the universe, and then things will finally be okay on Earth. But until we know that, we'll never move into the future and have a great future. We'll never have the future that we want until we have all the past, until we know everything about the past. And that's why history is important.